YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look what we've got here. An amazing rendition of the Apache from Xiang. We're just gonna do a slow pass right now. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Scale everywhere, up to and including the tail rotor. And then as you can see, it's kind of close on the tail rotor. Brushless motors on the main motor and on the tail rotor. Flight controller, all sorts of goodies. This thing comes equipped with LEDs, nav lights, and on the tail light. And just look at some of these scale details are absolutely glorious. And as you can see, rivets all over the place. And the only thing that they kind of missed the mark on is the sort of long and weird looking landing gear, but those things could be modified. They are spring loaded, full disclosure, and soft tires, which is awesome. And the gun has to be removed for each time you switch the battery. Full disclosure, when you do power this on, you're gonna press and hold that button right there, that round one. It's gonna wake up the system, and yes, there is a 1H or 1S micro pH connector, and that connector is going to allow you to run a small light if you'd like, or possibly you can run an FPV camera if you choose to do so. But in our case, we're not talking about that because we didn't get it. We got ours with 2 batteries. We'll show you everything you want to see in the Unbox build radio setup, including the fact that this switch was dismounted from our unit, and we showed you how we fixed it. So full disclosure, I don't know what condition that's supposed to be in, reluctantly, because I can't tell. All right, we're gonna find out in seconds. That should be idle up, so if it's backward, I'll flip the condition right away. My throttle hold is toward me, which means that as I move the throttle stick, there is no output, but you can see the pitch changing, which is always good, okay? So that means that our throttle hold goes off. This might start right away, or it might not. We would only know if this switch came out of the box correct. So it hasn't started, so we must have this correct. Once we pull this forward, it's probably gonna spin up. Yep, and I'm gonna switch it back. So that's going out of idle up. So idle up is toward me, but it may be away from you on yours, okay? Idle up is gonna spin, and then you're gonna change the pitch, and it's gonna stay at a constant rotation speed until the very top of the stroke on the collective, not the cyclic. The cyclic is here, okay? So real quick test, forward, backward, left, and right. That's how you're gonna pitch the helicopter. I'm in high rates right now. I think this is low rates. And I'm gonna my throttle holds off, so I'm gonna see what happens when I try to go. I'm in 6G versus 3D. 3D, of course, would be not gyro stabilized, or at least it's gonna allow me to flip over. So we're gonna try this right now. Camera crew is gonna stay right where she is. Throttle cut is off, about 50% on the stick. We're just gonna see a little bit of rudder. So far, so good. Letting it spin up. And we get a lot of vibration there. Not real excited about that vibration, as you can see right here. Trying to bring it up to speed here. Okay, stick down all the way. I'm not liking the way that's acting, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch it into 3D mode, which is not the way I want it to be. And I'm gonna switch it back and just see if I condition. Yep, the condition changes. You see the green light? It goes to red. Can you see the green light and the red light? It goes to green. So I am in the correct mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this again. Camera crew is gonna stay back. Stick about 50%. I'm just gonna bring it up into the air. There we go, I'm in the air. It's obviously auto leveling. It's just a little bit wonk on that takeoff, guys, as you can see. It's definitely moving. It's got lots of like crazy behavior to it. Not real impressed right now, so I'm hoping I can work through some of this. But as you can see, it is definitely auto leveling because I am not actively flying it. Couple clicks of trim. There we go. Got lots of power, but it's just maybe not, it's not feeling very good, let's say. Look how herky-jerk it is. So I definitely have something not quite right. Couple clicks forward on the cyclic. Whoa. I mean, I can definitely fly it, but I know how to fly helicopters. This is definitely not one you want to take off on your kitchen counter.
No.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the other rate, which there's a high and a low rate. Looks like the high rate actually has it behaving a little bit better. So as you can see, it's still a little bit less herky-jerk. But you see I'm moving the cyclic and you can see it jerk around, but it always returns back to level. Stay there, please. So it's got lots of power, guys, and I'm not having any problem flying it. It's just more a matter of, it's more touchy than I would have expected from a Xiang. But now that I'm just kind of getting the fingers relaxed, I mean, that thing is absolutely gorgeous. Let's go out to the end of the runway there, camera crew. Let's just fly over the grass for now. That's fine right there. So basically just trying to coordinate my turns, and you can see it gets really like weird on the backward axis. See how it's going back like that? It's way far back. I don't like that at all. So I'm gonna try to figure that out right now. I'm gonna bring it in, I'm gonna land it. Now this is not a full heli drone. This would be what I would call, you know, just like a helicopter, right? A heli drone is gonna have GPS. It's gonna have like a return to home function. This one doesn't have any of that stuff. And if it does, I don't know about it, which would be pretty bad actually if it does and I don't know about it. But one of the drawbacks of a Xiang model is we found that their manuals are pretty terrible. Okay, so we're just gonna try to land this, just going real slow with my controls. The wheels make it spongy. And then once I get it to the ground, you see how I'm having to lean to the side as I do this? Okay, and then just get it to where it cuts the power. Now, the other thing is heli drones that we have found will usually have a centered stick. It's gonna be spring up, spring down, because you're telling it to go up and you're telling it to go down. This is gonna fly more like a regular collective on a hobby grade heli. Now, some of you are gonna love this because this thing is gonna fly more in the 3D realm than some of the other heli drones that we've seen, but it just feels really like weird and spongy, and I don't know, it's touchy, and I'm not crazy about the way the stick response is. I'm hoping that when I go to idle up, it's gonna be better. So what we're gonna try now is I'm gonna try idle up. So I'm gonna pull this toward me and it's gonna start spinning up, and then it's gonna actually suck itself to the ground because of where the stick is. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring that somewhat neutral. We're gonna fly this time, a little bit different. We'll see how it does. So far, so good. It feels about the same. It's got kind of this like weird pitch sensitivity, and if you just stay off the sticks, the thing does pretty dang good. But I don't like having it walk back like that. It makes me nervous. I'm gonna fly overhead this time, camera crew. Man, that thing is gorgeous.
It is.
I mean, it looks really good, but you see how it leans back like a tail dragger? And it really locks in your roll axis, and so it kind of leaves me wanting for controllability, folks. Some of the competitive offerings right now, they're small and they're very good, but because they're so cheap, you can kind of say, hey, I'm gonna tolerate this a little bit better. This is not cheap. And as you can see, I went over us because it wanted to walk back so far. I figured, well, we'll just go up this time. It's got good downs. Blends into the trees, as olive drab should. Up against that bright green grass, it's looking beautiful. But it's just wonky as all get out, guys. Anybody who sells RC equipment understands there's gonna be beginner stuff, intermediate stuff, and then advanced stuff. I would say this thing is somewhere in the middle, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but like I'm giving it like full forward stick and I can barely tame that tendency. So it's not very comforting to fly a helicopter like that, because when you have to fly over yourself to arrest a movement as simple as what I've been doing, that's usually not a good sign. Now, is it flyable? Yes. Does that mean it's flying good? I mean, it sure looks good. But I don't like that. I want to be way more confident in my helicopters.
Yeah.
Because this thing is just wonky as all get out. And that's notwithstanding the fact that my stick was broke. Okay, now I am gonna go up to altitude here real quick, and I'm just gonna switch out of idle up, because I do kind of tend to like this one a little bit better than not idle up. It gives me more of that softer feel that I'm used to and what I like. Beautiful skies tonight, thank you. Thank you, Lord, for the beautiful skies. Look at this. Look at this. That's full cyclic to the right. I'm gonna try going to the higher rates and see if that helps. And by the way, as you can see, it tips a lot more now, but I'm in the low rates. So I don't know. As usual with Xiang, they have made all the switches super confusing. And I don't know why, because they make a pretty dang mean helicopter if you ask me. Now, work out the details, Xiang. Make this a better flight experience for the average Joe. And you're gonna have a real winner. Now, admittedly, it's gonna be a winner no matter what, because it's a freaking Apache. But you see that? You see that? I'm trying to get away from us as I demo this helicopter, and I'm genuinely concerned that it's gonna fly into me. I don't like that feeling.
No.
And I also don't like the feeling of having to ride the sticks to keep it going forward. See this? So, guys, I wanted to report that this thing was just amazing and flawless, but I'm not gonna report that. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't go buy one? Nah, probably not, because it's still pretty awesome. Does that mean it's imperfect? Yes, it does. Does that mean that you may not like it? That's a possibility, and you're gonna have to make up your own mind if it's bad enough to not like it. Come up by the edge, please. That's good. The camera crew and I can tell you one thing that we don't like. We don't like flying helis when we're nervous about them.
Yes.
Because the camera crew gets nervous.
Yes.
And I get nervous. And it's like, I'm not flying by suggestion like a real small heli here. This is a pretty decent sized heli. You guys see what I just did there? Same thing I did earlier. I just don't like the way it's the trajectory, okay? So now what I wanna do is I wanna see, I don't know if I have enough battery left to really get into a 3D move, but I'm gonna try a 3D move. Okay, so we'll see. If I go to 3D, the other thing is, guys, look where the switch is. It's incredibly difficult to switch back to that mode. So the other thing is, I'm actually gonna do this a little different. See, like that crap. I had to make a drastic maneuver to get it away from us because there's not enough cyclic to actually control the thing the way I want to, which is, I feel like we need expo and not rates, right? I mean, it definitely is flying. It's definitely not like a super hard to fly helicopter, but it's definitely gonna end up in the wrong hands. It's gonna end up in about 40 pieces on the maiden flight. So, I figured out why they didn't do it yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut in front of you, camera crew.
Okay.
So here's what I want you guys to understand. When I fly these helicopters, I am not really, throttle holds on. I am not really an expert heli pilot. I fly a lot of airplanes and I know my way around airplanes pretty well. But when it comes to helis, I'm just like basically a beginner, okay? I can fly them upside down for a second, but I'm not like sticking them to the ceiling in my house, okay? And people that are really good heli pilots can do crazy things. I'm not one of those people. So I'm not saying in closing by any means, but I definitely have to say I am disappointed by the controllability. Now, I want to show you something. One of the saving graces is that you can go in here and change the values on all of these settings, okay? So like if you want to change your dual rates, you can go in, dang it, you have to press and hold this. So there's dual rates, there's expo. So if I want to go into expo, now expo on channel 1 is 0. Expo on channel 2 is 0. Expo on channel 3 is 0. So let's say I want to put expo up to like 20, okay? And then I'm going to go on channel 1, I'm going to do 20. And that might be a lot. And on channel 2, I'm going to do 20, okay? Let's see how that helps. Okay, now I'm gonna just exit by pressing those. We're gonna step back here. Throttle hold is off. I'm gonna actually cut in front of you again, camera crew. All right, so we're in 6G setting. We have now 20% expo on all 3 controls. And I don't like the way it starts. That's why they put longer gear on it. Okay, so now the sticks are like super spongy, so you heli pilot, oh, that's actually reverse. It's way touchy now, okay? So 20 is backward, okay? Okay. I just did my throttle cut. I've seen this before. I'm gonna press and hold this. The expo is opposite of what you expect. So you have to do a negative value if you want to make it stick softer. Okay, so I'm going to do -10 because that 10 was a lot. Because I could tell from 20 was a ton, okay? And then I'm going to do negative. Okay, good enough. All right, now I'm going to exit, and we're going to try taking back off. Throttle cuts off, or throttle hold is off. Okay, not an idle up still. Okay, just get it off the ground. I think this is going to be the ticket, because guys, look at that. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in smoothness, guys. It's like night and day better. You see that?
Yeah, that's a big difference.
That expo made the difference, folks. That's why you come to Brian Phillips RC, because we're not just going to show you flying in the backyard. First of all, the yard's awesome. And second of all, we're going to show you how to make it fly better so that you can enjoy the thing. Because I got to say, at first, with no expo, this thing kind of sucks. It's hard to fly. It's very jumpy as heck. But now I've got it tamed to where it's like easy for me as an inexperienced, crappy heli pilot. Now, some of you guys are gonna say, well, just get to being a better pilot. And I would say, duh. Also, you can see the flashing lights. So what that means is I'm gonna land, and we'll show you. Holy cow, that is not a lot of warning. Throttle hold is on. I'm glad I wasn't over the pond.
I was expecting all the lights to flash so that you would actually be able to see it.
Throttle holds on. The fiery ball of delight is going over the horizon. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch batteries. You're gonna notice that the gun disappears. Throttle hold is on, it's been tested. So what that means is I'm gonna take this out right now. So the way you do this is you turn this off by pressing the power button, and then it's off. Now you're safe to hold it. You press these things in and you pull down on this tab and it comes right out. So camera crew is gonna hold. You can actually fold this back. You can press these together, and then you can lift out a little bit if you got enough fingernail, okay? And there's your battery. Now it is a custom battery, and there's only one gun that's screwed on. So you gotta move the gun each time if you want the gun there. So we're gonna fly some more right now. Camera crew and I are gonna swap out the batteries. We got 2 with our kit. Now, when you order from the links in the video description below, don't forget, you need to turn expo up, because if the expo is not up, it's gonna fly like crap. And also, I've got to say, I feel like there's probably a gyro cal. We're going to check on that too, and on the second flight, we're going to have it. Okay, so we're inside. So I've got this one with the gun, and we're going to just replace it with this one that's charged, of course. Now, the other thing you can do with this is just super nice, is you can press the button and hold it, and it will eventually tell you the charge level. Okay, so like this one, I'm going to press and hold it, and eventually it's going to come up with the charge level. But as you can see, there is no charge, therefore it's dead, okay? So I'm gonna turn this back off. I don't recommend loading it with it on, because you could get into a dangerous or sticky situation. So we're gonna load this and come right back. Okay, so I did one other thing. If you press and hold this function key, just like we did outside, then you can scroll down to expo, and just past that, you're gonna eventually find gyro. So that value, I believe, is attached to the condition of this. So I'm gonna actually, excuse me, I'm gonna go into that by pressing that button. Ah, dang it. Sorry, click that. Then you can use up and down. Once you're in it, by clicking that, it will highlight and then flash. Then you can go from 75. I'm gonna go up to 80. You might want less if you're a more skilled heli pilot. Accept your entry by pressing the function bind button or end button, and then it walks out. Okay, so what have we done? We turned expo to -10 on all 3 axes. Because I don't know which channel's which, we just have to assume, and I want it on all 3 channels anyway. So we could not find a gyro calibration, but I'm assuming that like down and out is probably going to do a gyro calibration. We're gonna keep looking to see if we can find anything. Okay, so this is why we say that the Xiang manuals suck. Read that in English and tell me if it means anything to you. I have no clue what they're talking about, okay?
Rudder fine tuning, right click, and turn on the remote control at the same time. The display is full and 1, 2, 3 beeps are released.
So the rudder, right click?
Rudder fine tuning, right click.
Right click, power on. Okay, so there's the beeps.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 beeps.
Okay.
Hit the aileron, the lift stick, the throttle, and the direction stick to the maximum and minimum, and draw a circle on the left and right sticks.
Okay.
Okay. Set the throttle stick to the middle position. After completing the above actions, fine-tune the direction and the dial to the right to exit the calibration.
Okay. Or it shuts
Click,
off.
pull throttle stick to the lowest position, and calibration is complete.
Okay, so
it did it.
Okay. So I guess that's all that does is that calibrates the actual physical switches. Okay. But like I said, it's just, that's the type of manual you get from some of these Chinese brands. I'm not trying to beat up the helicopter, but I am beating up the manual. It sucks. Okay. China, hire an English speaking person to write your manuals. Okay, ready? See this? I'm going to stick this in right now. It's going to go in, especially when it comes to technical jargon. It's incredibly difficult to understand. So, I mean, I empathize with the Chinese when they're writing manuals because it's got to be hard to deal with all the slang and terminology that we use here. But
yeah,
truth is, when it comes to technical jargon, it would be really handy to know the actual word that means the thing that we are explaining.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this back on. We're gonna go fly it. Note that the gun is not missing. It's just on my other battery that's being charged. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, so when you start this helicopter up, since we didn't do this in the first shot, I'm gonna show you how to do it. You flip the plane, or helicopter up in this case, you press and hold it for about 3 seconds, it turns on, and then you just lay it down and you step back like normal. Wait for that flashing green light on top to go solid. Once it's solid, then the flight controller is ready. Throttle cut can then be pulled away from your belly, like that. And then you can give it some throttle and spin it up. Pretty awesome. Okay, so the gyro's now at 80, and we have Expo at 10. So far, I gotta say, looks pretty good, feels pretty good. I'm mostly concerned with the pitch axis. We also calibrated our sticks, and I gotta say, guys, it feels like a new helicopter. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's definitely got some tendencies I'm not crazy about. Namely, having to ride the stick to stay forward. Couple clicks. Okay. Got plenty of power. You can do what you need to do. Coordinating turns in helicopters is one of the things I love to do. So let's go up here, camera crew. When I say coordinating turns, I mean using both sticks to move. I'm gonna change both the roll and I'm gonna control the tail, so I keep that tail where I want it. And boy, that thing looks dang good. I wish it wasn't so dang beautiful, because then I could hate on it. But the truth is, it's actually not a terrible flying helicopter. It's just not as good as I want. I'm gonna go overhead this time. I wanna feel that wind. Yes, so beautiful. Man, that's a lot of wind. So now this is also one of the biggest helicopters that we've had from Xiang in the same power system, I believe, as they have in a couple of their other drone helis, or heli drones as I like to call them, like the Seahawk and the Blackhawk. I think they also offer an olive drab version that's just like a Blackhawk as well. Okay guys, so here comes nature walk time. I know it's the moment you've all been waiting for, because I feel like it's flying good enough to actually matter. And so now we can go over here. Now there is gonna be some potential for 3D action, but I gotta say, the 3D action that we would normally do is going to be reserved for when I'm ready to let this thing die, okay? It's got really good cyclic. It spins fast, guys. See that? That's full speed. Full speed. It's pretty good for responsiveness there. And we're not used to that always on some of these like entry-ish level helicopters. But it definitely has more herk and jerk than we've seen from other competitive offerings. So I'm gonna go around the trees. You good?
Okay.
I'm gonna go up kind of high. Camera crew, keep walking. So as you see, we're way out there, going over the tops of the trees. I just want to see kind of what it does. It does good when you get away from yourself, but it's just sort of lame if you ask me to fly a helicopter so far. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer. And I mean, you can really fly it fast. I mean, I don't generally like a fast flying helicopter. You see those barn swallows? They're challenging my death machine. Oh, that looks so sweet. Okay, over the water. Now, battery, you're not allowed to die, because if you die, this thing's gonna be at the bottom of the ocean, also known as Brian Phillips RC's pond, okay? You guys see what I'm talking about? This thing is definitely a little touchy on the throttle. So if you want to change that, you can change your pitch curve. That looks so sweet. Let's get up there and get some closer shots here, camera crew. I'll keep it nice and safe for you. Oh, that is so sweet. Guys, gotta love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Going between us, camera crew, you good?
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it over the rocks. Oh man, that is so dang gorgeous. Oh, I want to land on this rock so bad, camera crew. You think I can do it?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna land, but I'm gonna see if I can just touch it. What the heck was that thing? Was there like a
don't know.
Giant creature over there?
Am I gonna be attacked?
Okay, so let's fly over here to the rocks, the submerged rocks, guys. The controllability is pretty good. We're gonna do a little weed whacking here for Brian Phillips RC. And as you can see, the thing moves a lot of air. But I gotta warn you, if you like to fly over water, you may want to be careful about it, because this thing does not give much warning. When it dies hard. And when it dies, you're gonna have about 2 or 3 seconds to respond, which is part of the reason why I'm being very cautious with my flight. Okay, let's bring it over here. Let's go over the dam. Over the dam runway, guys. This is the dam runway. Taking bids right now from some different engineering firms to get some design work done. Bringing it in. Next to the main drain. Gosh, that is so stinking sweet looking over the water. Okay, let's fly under this lid. We gotta be getting close to being out of juice, aren't we?
I would think so.
Okay, you're good. Cut the grass. Yes, cut it!
Jeez.
Sorry. Guys, the expo is the difference, folks. Set your expo to 10 minus, and you will find this thing is a different creation. It sucked hard before. And so if you guys are brand new to piloting RC aircraft, this might be a little bit more than you want to take on. Full disclosure, there are easier helicopters and cheaper. There's nothing wrong with this. You just got to do a little bit of expo settings. And I would turn that gyro up to 80, because look at how confident I am, guys. You see how close I was to the camera crew in my own face? It was close.
You're half battery.
Half battery? How do you know?
Because I can see it. You just flew over my face.
Oh, nice. So what you're saying is, don't take any chances or fly over the water.
I mean, it's your helicopter. I'm not jumping in after it.
Well, I didn't figure you would. I just want to get one pass going down the shore. Guys, I gotta say, having the waterway has been super, super fun and cool. You haven't even seen the half of it yet, because the damn runway has barely been used. It's basically just sat there and held water like a big lazy beast. But a beautiful lazy beast. And we just got done with these rocks. So we're always trying to share all the fun projects we're doing out here. But we're in here, we're just gonna get in here, try to scare the crap out of the fish. They're gonna be like, hey, that looks like a delicious dinner meal. Yeah, let's cut the grass. Let's cut the grass some more. Hey, camera crew, you good? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm gonna basically try for a landing on one of these rocks. I think we're gonna try this rock. Camera crew, you comfortable? You don't think we can get it, do you?
Not on that one. Well, I don't know.
I think we can get it. By the way, when this thing dies, it dies hard, folks. So be prepared for it. And yes, I am struggling because the air turbulates over that rock, okay? And then down you go. Whoa, that was kind of scary. You think I can get it, camera crew?
I don't want it to tip.
Oh, are you like literally scared it's gonna like shoot at you?
A little, I'm not super confident in this.
Why? In that? What's there not to be confident about? It's got missile rails on it.
Except into the water.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a pretty good. So, I don't know if you guys could hear that minor pitch change, but I'm just thinking if that's a minor pitch change, let's let the troops out. Oh, that is so sweet. Awesome. Oh man, look at the Dust Bowl. Okay, so let's bring it down. Are you good, camera crew? You want to get closer?
I'm zoomed in a little
Oh,
bit
that
right
is
now.
so cool. Okay, so throttle hold is on. We're gonna let it sit and go pick it up. So now that we're safe, we're marked safe from the water, we're gonna go ahead and take back off in the Dust Bowl. Okay, so throttle hold's off. Let's see if we can get this thing to take off because our tail is real low. I think we're gonna be good. Oh yeah, just get that thing in the air, guys. It's got a soft start, so be careful. Soft starts will potentially, when you're not in idle up, they will create a potential hazard for crashing, because if you go soft start, oh, that is so sweet. You gotta get some low shots with that puff of dust. Coming in to kill the bad guys. Oh yeah, so sweet. So now, yes, you can run this in 3D if you want. I'm gonna try to give you guys one little short clip of that, and that's gonna probably be the last clip because it might crash and never come back. So here's 3D. Okay, into 6G and throttling back up. As you can see, I just did a little flip. It's actually pretty reasonable to control. What'd you think?
That was all right.
So guys, what a sweet, sweet looking helicopter, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Definitely not sub 250, which sucks the big one, because to be honest with you, this thing needs to be sub 250 to do what it's supposed to do, if you ask me. Because at the end of the day, oh, there's our warning, it's gonna die. Okay, you see the flash on the top? That's when you take it very seriously, folks. I'm slowly riding my throttle stick, or in this case, the collective, and it just died, okay? You're gonna get a grand total of 5 to 10 seconds of warning. 5 to 10 seconds on a heli of this weight and size is not enough, okay? That being said, the first battery we pulled out was at like 3.3, 3.9, and 3.25 or something, so we had some imbalance there. Not a huge issue, but a little bit disappointing. All in, throttle holds on, by the way. Just don't forget to set your expo, and I think most people are going to really appreciate how sweet this thing looks. You're going to easily overlook, you're going to easily look past any of the shortcomings of the initial flights. Look at the blades. That's so cool. We whacked all that stuff off of the grass. So beautiful. But I gotta say, at the end of the day, does it do what it says it does? I think it does. Is it the best flying heli we've ever had? Probably not, but it does fly okay, and you can configure your pitch and throttle curves, which really give you the chance to dial in the way that this helicopter flies, okay? So that means if you're a skilled 3D pilot, you know how to fly regular hobby grade stuff, you're gonna have no problems with this, okay? If you're a brand new to the hobby, want something that's easy, there's lots of easy options. Don't get something that's more than you can afford to crash, because this thing is gonna crash hard for a lot of you. Now, that is strictly a skill-related comment, and I have made plenty of mistakes, so don't take offense to it, okay? That being said, I really like this helicopter, even though it has some drawbacks. I don't want to bash these manufacturers when they go out on a limb and they make awesome aircraft like this.
Yeah.
Even if they're imperfect.
There's a lot of guys that want scale helis like this, but they don't want the heli drone style. They want to actually be able to fly. So
you can fly this.
You can fly it.
And you can go into 3D and you can fly it.
Yep.
Okay, couple complaints on the scale front. I feel like the main rotor is a little bit small. I feel like this, they could have actually designed it to look like the real one, which is actually they're nested together closer, which is sort of weird. If you guys didn't know that, if looking at Apache, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not super opposed to it. It's fine. It's close enough for what I think. And once it's spinning up, it looks pretty good. It's not like some weird clear thing, okay? Now, secondly, these legs are a little bit long, but they are spring-loaded, and you do have a little bit of bounce on landing. So it's probably good that we have that. Now, big drawbacks are flight time is not amazingly long, but I can also tolerate that. It's just something to keep in mind. The warning on the low battery is virtually nil, okay? Because of the type of battery, you don't really have the option to just throw in a voltage alarm. Also, there may be some telemetry feedback. And if there is, I think it's mostly just actually, you see that battery icon? That's probably our AA's.
Yeah.
Not
so.
this, folks.
Yeah.
Okay? So, in terms of awesome factor, thank God it's an awesome heli. Because if it was a crappy heli that flew like this, I probably wouldn't be like singing its praises. But because it's an Apache, I am like super excited about it. I overlook so much stuff when we get scale helis. And I gotta say, as imperfect as this is, it's pretty dang good at this price point. Some of you are gonna say it's still expensive, and I'm gonna agree with you. But remember, helicopters are pretty expensive, okay? Yeah. Just get right down to it, they are pricey. Even the real ones cost billions of dollars.
Everything is expensive right now.
And it's raining.
Is it raining?
It is literally raining.
Great.
So guys, if you wanna support Brian Phillips RC, stay tuned, we're gonna do an unbox build radio setup next. And yes, it is most definitely raining.
Oh, yep. Sure is.
And if you want to support us financially, you can use a Patreon for monthly support, PayPal for one-time donations, YouTube Super Thanks for one-time donations, and YouTube members if you want to support us monthly. But the best and most resilient way to support Brian Phillips RC is to buy amazing helicopters, airplanes, VTOLs, quads, and whatever else it is we're reviewing, like leaf blowers and tractors. Because at the end of the day, that helps us to build relationships with the vendors that sell these things. It also gives us flexibility over time to be able to say, yeah, this one sucks, because there's 17 others that we've done that were good, okay? If we go on and just bash every product that we review and point out every possible flaw, then they're not gonna wanna work with us. So then you don't hear about it. Well, all I've got to say is, we're still gonna bash products if they're garbage, but we're trying to put them in perspective so you guys can weigh the choice, okay? Because you're big boys and girls, you can figure out if you're willing to tolerate a couple of expo entries. But why doesn't it come out of the box that way? Here's why. Because heli people are not plane people, and I'm a plane people, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the truth. People that fly helis are different pilots. They pilot different than airplane guys, okay? So, I'm willing to accept that there are occasionally differences of opinion, and it's not always just Brian's right and everybody else is wrong. This would be one of those times, okay? But I still think the Expo is kind of a no-brainer, and it flies like night and day better with minus 10 on Expo for all three.
Yep.
Also, absolutely gorgeous detailing. Not imperfect, but really dang good. Better than we've seen in a long time. The closest thing we have is probably an Apache from Blade that we had years ago. It's about half this size, and it was probably, I think, maybe $100 more, and you had to provide a separate battery and a transmitter, okay? So this thing is ready to fly. Keep in mind, if you want to be above board and legal, you have to fly in a FRIA, or you have to fly with a remote ID module if you want to be totally above board. I don't care if you're above board. As far as I'm concerned, you can be the pilot of a submarine. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And we just give you the information. You can do what you want with it. Remote ID module would probably stuff in here if you want to. And yes, there is a 1S micro pH plug right there. So you can technically power it from that. I believe you should be able to run it because this is a 3S pack. I'm not 100% sure what the voltage is coming out of there, but you can do your due diligence if you want to. Also, you do have to install the missile rails, but they are slide on, slide off. Unlike the gun, which is screw on, screw off with a pressure sort of clip to it. So you wouldn't have to put the screws in. I just don't want to lose my gun.
Yeah.
Because it's too dang cool. Also, there was no light provided with this, and I'm glad there wasn't because the light would look stupid on this thing, even though it'd be nice for visibility. And we truly do, on a routine basis, fly at twilight, as you see from many, many, many videos over the years with Brian Phillips RC. So the lights are always appreciated. And even though that's not a scale light on top, it's very helpful for visibility. And even though that's not a scale light on bottom, it's very helpful to know what the voltage range is, okay? So as you know, when we flew over, the camera crew knew that I was at half battery, and she was alerted to that so that we could make some decisions strategically about where we're gonna fly. So it worked. Anyway, and probably the most important thing is I just want to thank you guys for being part of our audience on Brian Phillips RC. We're constantly doing huge projects, as you can see. I don't know if you guys can see the tracks here.
Yes,
we've been working in our runway. This is the damn runway, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of topography change. We're working this out right now because at some point we're gonna have to probably slice into this hill and move around and make the knolls look a little bit more like a runway. And that's gonna be a really long runway and it's gonna be really awesome. And that's gonna be for RC still. But then up on the top of that hill, in short order, that's where the full scale stuff's gonna be taking off and landing. Okay, that's like 1,200 feet, okay? And there's gonna be a building here that's gonna have a giant door on it. It's gonna be used for tractors only and maybe occasionally an airplane. So if you wanna see all that unfold before your very eyes, stay tuned with us here on Brian Phillips RC. We are insane.
Well, you are at least.
That makes one of us at least. But yes, I am insane about RC and I'm insane about aviation. I've always been, my whole life, there's been gaps, just like many people, just like you maybe. If you're sitting on the chair and you want to get in the air, we're here to help you. This is probably not where you want to start, truthfully, but there's lots of great choices. We're going to help you get there. So if you're brand new and you want some help, we're not just going to give you shorts and bait you with unanswered questions. We're going to answer all the questions you ever had and then lots of things you didn't care about, because that's what we do best on Brian Phillips RC. Overwhelm you with data. But that's what people need. We need help, because when you start in this hobby, you realize just how quick you get out of your area of expertise and into like China just assumed you knew that, which I don't get. So you don't have to read Chinese manuals. We'll read them to you and then critique how terrible they were, while we then guess how to fix the problem. That's what we do best on Brian Phillips RC. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Unbox coming next. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We got a box. It's exciting. I can't wait to share this one. Been looking forward to it for a while. If you guys didn't already notice from previous Brian Phillips RC content, I'm a sucker for scale helis. And this one's gonna be no exception. We've got the bomb case in here, as you can see, pretty exciting. I'm gonna turn it sideways. I don't wanna give anything away just quite yet. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's the Apache. And that thing, by the way, is heavy. Feel that, camera crew.
My goodness.
It is actually, like full of stuff.
There?
And I love these boxes, are so nice. So let's show you what it looks like. Virgin run, guys. Okay, so we have user's manuals, okay? That's the first time I've seen one bent. User's manual for the F11, whatever that is. Okay, and we're just gonna unpack this right now because I can't wait any longer. Oh, buddy, it's big. Nice. Okay, I normally don't do this, but I'm doing it today. That thing is stinking sweet looking. It's so much bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
Really?
Oh yeah, that is awesome. And of course the 4 blades, that is so sweet. And we even have this weird antenna thing up on top. But as you can see, they even got little flares. I think those are flares. Are these spring loaded? I can't tell. They're spring loaded this way, but they're extended. They're kind of long. That's a little bit weird. But then I think that they got the lines pretty good. Squishy tires, awesome. I don't think that's steerable, that's just fixed. And then this doesn't move obviously, but it would in real life. And then I don't know if there's bombs and stuff on there, but they have rail adapters. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see in just a second. Oh, and by the way, squishy tires, they're rubber. So sweet. Tinted glass, windshield wipers, just the details we're getting on these helis are just getting awesome. Oh, and then even the 4-bladed prop. Now in real life, they would actually be at a weird angle, but obviously on this one, they're just that, okay? So we're gonna get what we get because I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so first thing we have to do quick, because I'm super excited about this unbox, but I'm more excited about getting this thing flying, is we have to get the adapter set up. And these have weird adapters, okay? Xiang comes with all this stuff. I'm just picking it right out of the case. It's crazy because like you could pack all this back up too, really easy. Okay, so this comes with, are you kidding me?
Is that a battery checker?
It is a voltage checker.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet. I don't know that that's gonna work very good. Okay. Oh, this is like an adapter, okay? So you can slide that in there. And once it's in there, it's got this little key. Just make sure you plug it in the right way, I guess. There's also this button. I don't think that does anything right now, but maybe it's totally dead too. And then it comes with an adapter that is going to be compatible with whatever this is. This must be 2.5 amps, 250 volts at 10 amps. This is just an adapter, so you've got like a global power supply here, which is nice. Okay, and then a pretty robust power supply. It looks like this is 15 volts at 2 amps. That's a lot of power, guys. Surprisingly, a lot of power. And then there's a blue light that comes on there. Now this thing powers up, and this is the 234S balance charger and voltage detector. Oh, okay. So then you can plug that in right there. Pretty sweet. So there it is. So it starts charging. So we're gonna get that going. Now, just for future reference, each of these batteries that we have for these different Helis have been different. And if you want to just show them right here, we've got all these different ones here, and they're just different sizes, and they have these weird holsters that are provided from Xiang or similar brands. So just remember, when you get these batteries, this is the one I prefer if you would have a choice. You aren't going to have a choice on most of these. The reason I like these is because then I can use a more conventional smart charger or regular balance charger rather than being married to whatever their offering is. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this offering. It's just that it's not going to be quite as quick. And so as you can see, we have this discharge lead here. So what does that tell you, camera crew? What did I just explain 30 seconds ago and I missed it?
That was the same style.
Yep, it is. And so what does that mean? We
So
can
we can
go
use
ahead.
a good charger.
Yes, that's right. So, but there's only one dock. So because
Right.
there's only one dock, I have to look through my millions of adapters here. Now, if you guys are like a normal person and you don't have millions of adapters, this is how I built my adapter for XT20 to EC3. EC3, of course, will be compatible with IC3, which includes the data port. And I'm, you know, right here, you've got another one. So I'm gonna plug this in. Of course, my kids were probably doing something today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show that this is going to work, and then I'm gonna quickly jump over and charge it. So at 3.96 volts, 3.95, I'm gonna use my XBC battery checker just to show you that this is working here, okay? So we'll unplug that, and we're gonna go straight into here as though it was just a balance lead off of a battery. And as you can see, we're at 69%. Interesting, convenient. So when I unplug this, of course, it de-energizes the circuit and it shuts off, okay? So pretty simple, basic stuff. Now I can de-energize that, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to charge it on a smart charger, which is probably, it doesn't have to be a smart charger, but in my case it is. It's not gonna be operating as a smart charger because there's no smart data lead. Then this plugs in here. It's gonna populate the screen with 3.94 volts. We're gonna have a little better precision. And camera crew and I are gonna try to get the saturation right as I press start. I'm gonna scroll up. I don't know how big this battery is, so pull back just a little bit here. This is 1800 milliamp 3S, okay? So 1800 milliamps, so 1.8 amps. So I'm gonna click, scroll up, change this to 1.8. Or since we're here trying to film 1.8, we're gonna do 2C. So that would be 3.6 amps or 3600 milliamp hours, and start. And I say amp hours, but I shouldn't have, it's just amps, okay? Because amp hour is a measure of consumption of power over the course of time, not necessarily a full hour, because obviously most of our helicopters and planes don't fly for an hour. But did you see how easy that unbox was? That was crazy. I love these easy unboxings.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so now that that's open, I just noticed this. That's not a good sign.
Ooh, okay.
So what that means is that when I grab my knobs, I'm gonna pull this out. Love these things. Love a good pair. They are a little small for my taste. So over here, you'll notice I have a bit of a weirdity. I wonder if that switch is supposed to be there. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think. But this is not spring loaded. That's weird.
Because that would be the top of that switch.
It would be like whatever that is. But listen. Oh, there is definitely something loose in there. So we might need to actually do a little surgery. We haven't done surgery for a while. I was gonna say this unboxing is going very clear, or very easy rather. Oh, so we also have a spare prop. Show them for the tail rotor.
Okay, and then some decals.
Now ours came with 2 batteries. You can get yours with more or less depending on how much you wanna spend. But my suggestion is, as always, when you get a Heli, these batteries are always very economical in the package offerings. I would highly recommend that you order them from the links when you order your helicopter to help support Brian Phillips RC, not only because it helps us with small commissions and that's how we fund this channel, but secondly, because it's a lot cheaper. And if you're gonna be buying, like for instance, this Bell 206 came with a number of helicopter batteries like this, Bell 206, when you order them, they're very reasonable, okay? So I'm not saying you can't get aftermarket, but on these, you're gonna have to basically do surgery on the case and some pretty, I mean, it's not like just something you do, okay?
Right. And if you order them after the fact, the proprietary ones, they're gonna be way more with shipping and all that.
And also we're at 79% here. We can see the internal resistance. If you're curious about that sort of thing, you know, to be honest with you, I work on electronics for a living and I don't even know what the heck this matters. Evidently, bigger number is bad. I don't know.
Okay, good to know.
I don't know. But here's the thing. We have 2 batteries that we need to charge. This one also has that power button. So whilst pressing and holding it, it eventually turns on and it indicates, I'm gonna go out of the sun, how much charge is on there. And then there's also a 1S micro pH connector. Okay, so if you have a light, you can put the light on there. Now, I do have lights on other batteries from other equipment. Like you see right there on that gray one, in that orange one.
That one.
Those are little LEDs, but you can also use these to power small standalone FPV gear if you want. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to do whatever was in this package because that's kind of the point of an unbox, okay? There is more stuff though. Okay, so we have spare blades. They did send 4, which is good. Lots of screws, that's kind of scary. Spare tire, nice. Rather than spare parts, I would have rather had the transmitter not broken. Ordinance, obviously we have to put that on.
Oh, okay.
It's a helicopter, so we can't not do it. But they do look like they're gonna suck to put on. So let's see how bad this is, okay? So first things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. There is an elephant in the room, and no, it's not me. It is what the heck happened. And by the way, I've never seen an Apache without ordnance on it. So this is a little bit disappointing that it's not installed right off the bat. I don't like installing this stuff. The other thing too is I've noticed, I can't remember if this is always present on an Apache that I've had in the past. I've had a few Apaches. I think that might come off too. I think it's a radar thing. So, and by the way, I thought that they might have the aspect, like the scale line's a little bit off on this thing. And now that I'm holding it in my hand, one of the things that's mostly off is the landing gear. I don't know why they chose to make them so tall, but otherwise the scale lines are very close to what I expect. I'm definitely very hard on helicopters in terms of scale appearance. If I have any issues with them, I point it out. Again, highly subjective, but the truth is, I want a scale helicopter to look scale. So if they miss the mark by a little bit, it goes a long way, okay? In my opinion. All right, so continuing on, we have this bag of screws. They're extremely huge.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
Super fun.
Yep, and then we have a screwdriver. Now, fortunately, we'll just keep our eye on, that is a very small tip. Okay, and then there is also an Allen hex key for replacing the blades, evidently, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Now, let's dump out the ordnance. Oh, yes. That is so sweet.
Oh, they look nice.
That looks like it's got a little bit of strength to it because this is the first thing that'll break. Oh, no. That goes onto the battery, though. I don't like that at all because that means, wait, yeah, I don't want to have to screw that on my battery because then I need one for each battery. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I do not like that. That's way lame-o. But it's kind of where the battery goes, so I guess what are we supposed to do about that? I don't want to share that between helicopters.
Right.
They should really give you one per battery.
Per battery.
But then you also can't store your batteries. This does have a pretty good amount of pressure to it. Like I feel like you would be able to get away with maybe not putting the screws in if you wanted to just kind of haphazardly use it. But I don't want to lose the gun either. What if it got in the wrong hands? Like,
yeah.
If you pulled out of a military conflict and you just like left all your gear there for the bad guys to have.
That seems like a really
That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure no one would ever do that.
Sure nobody would ever do that in real life.
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
Moving on. But where's the
switch is inside there.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I am amazed that we have this as a demo with a switch that's missing. Now, is it possible that the switch is supposed to be missing?
But it's labeled. I mean, like it's labeled up here.
That needs to be used. Because look, I'm just looking through. Come over here and look over my shoulder. I don't see anywhere. Oh yeah, they're definitely talking about it.
Yep.
Okay, well if yours comes broken, we're gonna show you how to fix it because that's what we do on Brian Phillips RC, evidently. This is not the first or last time we're gonna have a broken thing show up on my doorstep. It is rather annoying, but...
It's been a long time since we've had a broken transmitter.
Yeah, but not long enough. Because long enough would be forever.
Never, yeah.
Never.
Forever.
Look at this, gunship. Amazing.
Well, they
So
labeled
sweet.
that.
Yes, gunship. Now, oh yes. We don't have to do anything for these. Where do they go? I can't tell. I can't tell which one's which. There's one that goes here and one that goes there. And they just slide in.
That's nice.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's the way the other stuff should have been. I just don't know which one's supposed to be. Oh, spin that around so we can see, camera crew. No, spin it around so we can see, camera crew. Okay, there you go. Yep, so I did it wrong. So the Chinese probably had it wrong anyway, but who knows? Do these pop off? Yes, they do. Very nice. So the missiles are supposed to be inboard. Oh, geez. That feels like it's going to break something. Look at that. It's got a little taper on it. So that's the correct way, I think. There's a line. You guys see the line in the drawing?
Here.
Point at it for them
Yep.
to see. Okay, so I'm just going to slip these on. I don't even need any tools to do that. Why did they give us like a bag of like millions of screws? I don't understand why they would give us screws.
That's not for that.
It's just spares, I guess. But then we also have these, so you can do the decals.
See, like they have, that decal is on there.
Yeah,
so
I don't.
Where would you put them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep going with this build.
All right.
Because remember, we have an extra step in our build called fixing our radio control.
Right.
Which is rather annoying. Guys, listen, when we get broken stuff on Brian Phillips RC, we always share it. We don't want to beat up distributors that would normally take care of customers.
Right.
And so that's part of the reason why we've chosen to work with the people we're working with, because we haven't heard a single negative report yet, which is pretty good. We heard lots of negative reports with our previous distributor that sold this very type of item. Might have been branded in like Ghoul RC or some other random brand. But the truth is we've had very good luck with them. And sometimes stuff gets broken shipping too.
Yeah.
But it is annoying. You know, this is an expensive helicopter.
Yeah.
So if you guys have questions, leave it in the comments below. We're just gonna slide all the ordnance on here. And it looks like that is a pretty easy process. I feel like the ordnance really makes this airship look right. Because it's after all, it's a death machine.
Right, you don't like fly your Apache around.
It's like, hey, jump in my Apache. Let's go to let's go get a $500 burger. Close this lid, please. Okay, so the next move is we got to fix this. I don't think the screwdriver that's provided is going to work, so I'm gonna have to dig out the bigger tools, which is gonna be, I guess this one. That was kind of pulled up already for me. Okay, if you guys haven't ever seen Brian Phillips RC fix something, you haven't been watching long, welcome to Brian Phillips RC. We do things like this where we fix crap that came broken. Most other guys would just hide it from you and then you would never know. Not that it really matters. Like I said, we don't mean to beat up the distributors. It's not really their fault. This probably came from Gina. And China forgot to tighten their nuts. Well, I don't know why. Maybe they were having a bad day and weren't willing to play with the nuts. Okay, so we're gonna just put these screws off to the side. Now, it's not typically recommended that you tear into your transmitter when it's brand new, unless of course it's broken. Right. And if it's broken, then that would be probably something you might consider. Again, if you're not competent to do this, don't feel like you have to. Of course, you can just hit them up on an email and you can say like, what the frick, guys, my transmitter like came broken. Right. And I'm sure they'd be happy to take care of you. But in our case, I'm impatient and know what I'm doing.
Mostly just impatient.
Yes.
We'll figure out the ruts as we go.
Okay, so we got the screws out, 6 screws. Always check for the hidden one in here. Oh, by the way, you're gonna have to provide your own double A's. So those 6 screws, now listen. Okay, so this is gonna separate open pretty easy. Okay, yep, it just fell down. Should be pretty easy. Now, my only issue is I don't know which way that goes. Oh. So what I'm gonna do is I'll show you right now what it looks like inside of here so you guys can get a look since I'm opening it up anyway. So if you do have to get in there, you understand. And I've seen this switch before. It's a pretty popular switch for this type of thing. It's pretty much the same on every transmitter.
Which way?
That says idle, gyro, dual rates, and hold. So it's actually labeled there. But yeah, good question. Good question, camera crew. Which way?
We're gonna have to.
You know what? It's actually passes through over here. It passes through over here. What is the switch for again? Do you remember?
I do not. It's labeled on there, but I can't read it from here. I think it's like the F mode.
Well, no, I know, but what I'm trying to say is we'll have to be extra careful when we start up because ours might be backward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So once you get that thing back together, if yours comes broken, the biggest thing is as you collapse your cabinet closed, you'll want to be careful not to lose any of the wires or get anything pinched because that's when the problems happen. Now, the other thing is, since I've got this opened, I can show you this. If you ever want to add a little extra resistance here, you can actually put more pressure on this thing, which is kind of handy if you like that sort of thing, if you're into that sort of thing. But you have to have the right size screwdriver. Tighten that down. And then the other thing you can do is you can bend right here, and that'll put downward pressure so that it makes the stick a little bit harder to move, okay? The other thing you can do is you can get really aggressive and you can pry that with pliers. But you see how I'm just grabbing that with my 2 fingers? Don't mind the antenna, that's just popped off of the plastic. So I'm just slipping that back down in there. Okay. So where else on YouTube do you get help fixing your brand new thing that we're recommending you purchase than Brian Phillips RC? All right, so leaving this open, we could figure out if it's F mode, flap, GS gear. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that means. Okay, we're gonna have to find out what that means. We'll pause, grab some batteries, and come back. All right, so full disclosure, our battery was done when camera crew was grabbing double A's, okay? So what we're gonna do is, this is de-energized right now, so we don't have to worry about safety issues. So we'll just plop these in here. The flat goes to the spring. If you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, we show the entire process. Do not stop, go. Do not collect $200. And maybe some year, the video will be over. So we're turning this on. We are not screwed shut. See how that says 0 and 75? I'm gonna wake it up, 0 and 75. So I'm trying to figure out which one would be which. So here's high and low. So that's high and that's low, I think. And this is like an older style of transmitter. I don't remember seeing it like this. Okay, so there's your throttle. That backlight's really annoying, shutting
really
off.
Short.
Yeah, yep. Like I don't like that at all. Let's see if we can change it. No, 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 no. You see how it says reverse? Okay, I don't care about reverse, so select goes up and down. System model, swash type, model select, gyro, pitch curve, throttle curve, exponential, dual rates, reverse, system. Try this, press and hold, see what happens. Okay, press and hold this. So I'm gonna go up and down and we'll just go through. So obviously, I wanna go into that. So I press it, dang it, you gotta press that to go in. So press and holding function mode. Click there. We have model sub trim. See that changes up and down, so acknowledge. That scrolls through. That changes from sub trim. Now I'm gonna press that. Nope, it goes in. Dang it. Now I can go up and down, swash type. Yeah, I'm back to where I was. Mm-hmm. Model select. Yep, guys seeing what I'm seeing? Okay, so if you don't know what throttle curve and pitch curve are, those are things you can set. I was just trying to figure out one very specific thing, and that is which condition is this switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge whatever it is and get back out to regular mode. So one of these is F mode flap. This is probably throttle hold. Nope, throttle hold's over here. So throttle hold is obviously not on right now because I have the throttle stick all the way up. Now throttle hold is on, so it's at 0, and regardless of the stick condition, it stays at 0. That backlight's so annoying.
Yeah.
So I do not know if this is right or wrong. So the only way to know that would be, this is six channel idle switch, 5 channel idle switch. What the heck is that supposed to mean? 6G, 3D. So there's, this is basically 3D or 6G. 6G, as far as I understand, is like stabilized flight and auto leveling. And then 3D is gonna allow you to do all the normal things that a helicopter could possibly do, okay? So then I just am trying to figure out which direction this goes, and I don't know how to tell. Okay, so I have some screws. I'm gonna walk away from that problem for a minute because it's pissing me off. I don't like having to figure stuff out like this. And one of the biggest drawbacks of going with some of these brands from China is that the instruction manuals are complete trash. This is no exception, okay? Yeah. We've done Xiang before. I'm not saying the helicopters are trash, but the manuals suck bad. So if you're expecting a good manual, buy something different. All right, so here we go. We're gonna install the guns, okay? So there's 2 screws, and yes, this does come with 4 trillion little tiny screws. I'm gonna try to hold it with my middle finger now, because that's the only way. You're blocking my light, something fierce. Okay. Yeah, this screwdriver is designed for small Chinese fingers and not mine, okay? But I got the job done. Now, I'm just gonna show you with a more conventional size screwdriver. What do we have here? Do we have a super dinky one? We have a 3mm. Let's see if that's small enough to even get in there. Actually, it does work. So look at that, that's not bad. And if you have trouble holding the screw, you can flip the battery upside down and bring it to your work. And that's actually, that was so much easier, holy cow. But you think I'm gonna dink around with that every time I switch my battery? No. Lame. That should come with each battery. Sorry, Xiang, fix it. Now, that being said, I don't want to start this because there is a very important switch called idle up. And idle up is going to switch between a very predictably dangerous mode because idle up is going to spin up to full speed, and then the other alternative choice is basically not idle up, okay? Right. So that means like it would start spinning a little bit and then it'd be full spinning, okay? And then all the way down it would stop spinning, and the pitch curve would also go down to nothing. If you're in idle up, it's gonna spin up to like whatever your preset value is for the throttle, okay? So I don't want to find out that I have this switch in the wrong condition. That being said, it's not labeled worth a crap anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So when you hear me talking about what mode I'm in on that switch, you can just ignore it because I'm probably gonna be 50-50 shot at success there.
Right.
Now, I tried to put it in there where the wire was just gonna relax, but I could be mistaken, and if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance. I'm trying to do the best I can with what we have, and what we have was a broken transmitter. So, that being said, I'm gonna just button this all up, and we're gonna come right back after I get those 6 screws back in. All right, so I wanted to discuss something really quick before we actually fly. Again, you guys have already seen the flight, so this is just the Unbox build radio setup part. This is the older style transmitter. This is the newer style transmitter for the Heli drones, similar to this Coast Guard style Xiang Heli. And then we also have, I think the there's a Seahawk back there as well. Mm-hmm. They're gonna both be Heli drones. So that means they've got GPS, all sorts of stuff. They will self-fly, they'll self-land, they'll return to home, all sorts of things. This is not gonna have those same feature sets. So just keep in mind, even though it's a Xiang, it doesn't necessarily have all the same features. Also, I wanna just point out the fact that this is the same flying helicopter in terms of the blade size and everything. So it's gonna be basically the same heli. This just has more body going on, okay? And the 4-bladed prop, or the 4-bladed tail rotor rather. So just keep in mind when and if you order a plane, or excuse me, a helicopter from Xiang, or really from any manufacturer for that reason, you just need to be real careful what you're ordering, because sometimes these Chinese helis, they'll trick you into thinking that you're getting something that you're not. Obviously, in this case, I don't believe Xiang was trying to deceive anybody, but it would be easy to make that assumption based on past experience. And I don't want you guys to get the wrong heli if you're looking for a heli drone. And you can kind of see this. This has got the 6-axis gyro. It's got digital servos, direct drive brushless. So it's still got a lot of the same features that you want for flyability, but it's not necessarily gonna have the heli drone setup where it's gonna fully do everything itself, okay? Like take off, land. And I could tell immediately when I pulled this out of the box because there is a stick that can go up and a stick that can go down, okay? So also, if yours comes with a loose switch like that, that is highly unusual. Don't forget when you get it all done, you wanna try to tighten this. I'm gonna show you one trick bore before we go out and fly this, and we will have flown it already in your video. But you have to tighten this. If you don't have a modified screwdriver, sometimes you can get in there like this and you can work them like that. And that's probably good enough for what we're doing, but they actually have a large screwdriver that you can purchase that's designed to do that. The other way you can sometimes do it is with pliers, and it just depends on the size of the screw, but you can sometimes get in there and you can set that in. In this case, it's too small. So you can see I can't really hang on to it. It makes it really difficult to tighten, okay? So again, the other thing is there's a million different ways to skin a cat. We just try to show what our experience was. We kind of assume you're not gonna have a problem with this. We also assume you're not gonna be charging on this charger here, okay? But if you have a smart charger, you have a more robust charger, you can have at it, because our charge time was really short. It was only like 15 minutes from storage charge out of the package. Now you may not run yours down to that same level. You may run it a little bit lower, so you might expect a 30-minute charge time or 45-minute charge time, depending on how quick you want to do it. I am running faster than stock charge rate. So 1C would be 1.8 amps. I'm doing 3.6, so 2C. These batteries should be totally capable of 2C if they're flying helicopters, okay? I'm not noticing any undue heat. And just keep in mind, when and if you decide to charge on an aftermarket charger, to keep an eye on it, make sure you're not doing anything crazy, because there's really only two dangers in our hobby. And I know everybody assumes you're gonna hit your head with a plane when you're getting into it. That's really not one of the dangers. The props are the danger and the lipos are the danger. So treat the lipos with respect, same thing with props. And that's one of the things we do with helis. We always try to go outside with the bigger helis. These are big enough that I wouldn't want to start it in here. Now, once we've flown it and trusted it, I would fly it in here, no problem. But I'm probably not going to start it inside because it's a little too big. And even though we've crashed into the wall up there, I don't think my wife wants me to crash into the wall anymore with a helicopter of this size. By the way, this battery just got done charging. So if you want to come over here, I'll scroll down and show you. There's our charge balance. Okay. And then up here, you can see that we were charging for about 15 minutes. That was from stock. So we never actually had this plugged into the standard charger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to bring this over here and just show you how this one works. If you want to see what it looks like when it's full, obviously there is a key to plug. You want to plug it into the 3S. So there's a 4S and a 2S, so it says full, of course. So when it's done, it's going to say full, and it's also going to show the voltages and stuff like that. So as you can see, pretty basic stuff. The thing I like a lot about the systems that come from Xiang is that they come in these nice kits many times, not always, but most of them do, the bigger, more expensive options. And I love the fact that the batteries are pretty easy to put in. But in the same token, I hate that they fit in easy, because that's why you have a specialized battery. Now, is it a good trade-off in helicopters or scale helis? Yes, and it's one of the only places that I want an easy to load battery, as opposed to something like on the Bell 206, competitive brand. It is not hard to load that battery, but it's definitely not as easy as it's gonna be to load this. Now keep in mind, when you do load these, this one's been charged as well. And so what you have to do is you look for, and look, you can see 4306, 540 kV is the brushless motor. This is going to slide up inside of here, and it's going to go in. I don't think it goes just straight. I think I have to rock it in. So I'm going to rock it in like that, and then it's kind of slips up into the position. And it sounds like it's breaking itself, but trust me, it's not going to. So I'm holding this, but I'm not gonna power it, and I mounted the gun backwards. Goodness gracious, I'm so dumb. Well, I'll have to switch that off camera, but you can see these two squeezy tabs. That's how it drops down in. How did I miss that? I feel like such a moron. I mean, you could technically have that gun backward, I guess, but it would be weird. Why would you stow a gun on a gunship? So, by the way, let's talk about weight, because I know some of you guys are thinking, is this thing sub 250? And the answer to that question is, I'm guessing not.
Yeah, we guess not.
It feels pretty heavy to me. So I'm gonna turn this thing on. I'm gonna be very happy if it's sub 250. Okay, first of all, 139 grams for the battery and all batteried up. Yeah, she's heavy. She has got some weight to her. I can tell you right now, I'm holding up the tail right now and it's still 4 something. Yeah. So this thing is definitely going to be not sub 250. And for that reason, you're talking about a FRIA or remote ID if you want to be fully compliant with the laws in the United States, which I could really care less if you are. Just don't piss off people, because then they become Karens and we have to deal with that in the RC community. So the truth is, I love being able to fly and I love the freedom to fly, and I don't think we should have to ask for it. That's why we pay for real gunships like this, so we can fight wars and stop dictators from telling us things like this. But I guess in this case, I need to flip my gun around so we can go fly it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have questions about this beautiful helicopter from Xiang, leave it in the comments below. We'll do our best to get to your questions. And if you have comments, of course, you can leave them there as well. When you go to take out your battery, of course, squeeze these two black thingies together, and then you can take your finger and lift it up just like that, rock it out, and then basically you can get in here with your 3mm screwdriver, and you can undo these two screws. The camera crew is trying desperately to get out of my light. Thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that without me asking. So 2 screws. This has to lift off, and then it spins, and then it drops back on. So in terms of complaints, let's just say I don't like fixing things that are brand new out of box. That's annoying. Even if we didn't have literally hundreds of aircraft in our house for RC aircraft, I would not like that. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Everything appears to be functional. Now it's just a matter of getting my switches to be in the right conditions. And then secondly, I don't want to have to install the guns because I want the guns on each and every one of my batteries. Now, that being said, if you want spare parts, follow the link in the video description below. If you want the helicopter in activity alarm.
I'm guessing so.
Wake it up?
Yep.
Okay. If you want to buy one of these for your very own, look no further than the links in the video description below. When you buy them from the links, you help support Brian Phillips RC and what we do for the RC community here, which is basically unbox, build, radio setup, and then fly, and then we say, hey, that thing sucked, or that thing was pretty awesome. And we generally just, you know, you guys make up your own minds on what you want to see. But at the end of the day, man, that thing is dang gorgeous. I can't take my eyes off of it. So I cannot wait to see this fly. It is going to be so sweet. And if I can't tolerate the ugly landing gear being long like that, what I might do is I might run that screw. There's a screw right there, and I think that so it can be replaced. But I wonder if I could slide that in more to make it shorter. I don't know. And then also, just to be clear, there are 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, that hold the canopy down. Once the canopy comes off, there is access to the flight controller and all that good stuff. So as usual, Xiang has thought of some things. Hopefully we filled in the gaps so that you can get up in the air. And if you have questions, leave them down below. We'll do our best. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to smash the bell when you are subscribing to Brian Phillips RC, because we have new content coming out every week, usually a couple of times, sometimes up to 4 or 5, depending on if you're including shorts or not. So we appreciate you being here with us. And if you have questions, we'll try our best to get to you. If you like this product or another product that we reviewed in the past, like maybe the Black Hawk or the Seahawk that's back there, or maybe one of these other recent helicopters that we've done, all you have to do is go to brianphillipsrc.com and you can find exactly what you're looking for, whether it be sorted by brand or type, or if you already know what you want and you want to find a playlist, you can find that on YouTube as well. So we try to do playlists for every single item we've done. Sometimes we have, you know, just a couple of videos. Sometimes we have 40 or 50 videos about one particular item. And usually the older videos have lots of content. So we'll show modifications and things like that, maybe adding LEDs to a wingtip or something like that. It's going to be in the playlist for a given aircraft. And that's why we talk about Brian Phillips RC, because that is where you can go to sort it all out by type and by brand or affiliate or hobby shop or whatever we worked with on a particular item. So if you have questions, that's a great place to start. All right, anything else, camera crew? Did I forget anything?
I think we covered it all.
All right, so stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC. These helicopters are awesome, and I cannot believe how good they're getting. So I just hope this thing doesn't blow up in a million pieces, because I mean, it's just, look at the details. It's so beautiful. I mean, even these things, which I believe just have like a little sensor on them that detect the wind blowing. So cool. Wish I would have had this stuff as a kid. I would have killed for it. All right, that's all you got. Stay tuned. So much more RC content coming from Brian Phillips RC. So we'll see you on the next go around.